Fox News alert, our fallen soldiers are back home. The president and war secretary attended the dignified transfer today, honoring the lives of the brave men and women who died during operations against Iran. Private Isabella Gonzalez, Sergeant Angel Rampersad, Sergeant Michael Swinton, and First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan. After the transfer at Dover, the president invited Tyler Feehan's family to fly on Air Force One. They're from Georgia, and he was going to Georgia for an event. The Feehan family shared that Tyler loved primetime, watched it almost every night. When I heard that, I was very moved. And the more we learned about Tyler, the more we loved him. He was a man of adventure, hiked Mount Everest, hiked all across France and Spain. He planned on going to law school, and we're not going to hold that against him. And from what we know about him, he was a disciplined, motivated, and honorable guy with a great sense of humor. He leaves behind a fiancée, and his parents want you to remember on this solemn day the good of this country, not the division. They have a GoFundMe to create a scholarship for people in the military or people who are pursuing a career in the military who want an education. There it is on the screen.
This is a son who is like a flawless, perfect person. Beautiful, beautiful son. Handsome in every way, brilliant, respected by everybody. His sheet read so beautifully, and I told them that their beloved son, and his name was Lieutenant Tyler Feehan, and he was a person that was going all the way. He was going to be a general.
The commander-in-chief mourns every loss of life, but is determined to finish the mission. Today, Trump launched more devastating strikes against Iran. Last night, our forces obliterated aircraft hangars, drone facilities, and military infrastructure. Super Hornets deployed off the USS Bush, conducting air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. Trump's going to make them pay. For every innocent ship they clip in the Strait, Trump says we'll bomb a bridge or a power plant. Last night, General Kellogg says you can't let the enemy hang around for too long.
Here is a concern I do have for Iran, though. You have played sports, I've played sports, we've watched sports, and you let a team hang around, a baseball team in the ninth inning or a football team in the fourth quarter, where you were clearly the better team. You should have closed them out in the first quarter, not the fourth, or the first inning, not the ninth inning. And the longer they stick around, the more dangerous they become. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And I think the president's going to close it out. He should close it out.
And this just in, the United States is surging medics, forces, and weaponry to the Middle East to give Trump a more muscular military option as he considers a major offensive against Iran. Squadrons of fighter jets are staged across the region. Long-range bombers are on high alert for major combat operations. Over 100 medics just arrived in Germany, and special operators have been deployed into the theater. Now, the war isn't won in a single move. It's a game of chess. The Iranians are ideological. They're slimy negotiators that can't be trusted. Trump has multiple pieces in play: military pressure, negotiation, sanctions, and isolation. Even the deal was a tactic. It kept the regime alive to sign the paperwork, but they blew it. Now we're moving new pieces into position. It showed Trump gave peace a chance, and now they're going to have to face the consequences.
If you sign on to an agreement and then you violate the agreement's no longer valid. That doesn't mean you can't have a future agreement, but ultimately that future agreement will have to be judged on whether or not you're complying with the conditions.
Clifford May is the founder and president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Cliff, it does look like we're surging a lot of resources into theater right now. What do you expect?
I expect the president wants to finish this job. This is a regime that for decades has been chanting and saying that its policy is death to America. It's been killing Americans in large numbers, as have its various proxies. I think the president wants to take away its ability to kill Americans or threaten Americans, and I think he's decided that's what he's got to do. That means, at the very least, cripple the regime, take away its ability to project power. This regime had more missiles than we thought, probably. I think that's the case, but we've done tremendous damage to this regime's abilities. last year in the 12-day war, this year in Epic Fury, and now I think he wants to get this done. I think he wants to win, not lose this battle.
There's debate about whether to let Israel join in this last operation. What are the pros and cons?
Well, look, the Israelis, I think, would be very glad to partner with the U.S. on this again. I don't think that our Gulf allies mind at this point and think that's fine. The Israelis have exquisite intelligence, but they'll share that with the U.S. It may be that President Trump, as he did on February 28th, has particular missions he wants the Israelis to take on, such as removing some of those in the regime. I don't want to say leadership. I'm talking about rulers. They're not leaders, but there may be some that should be eliminated, and the Israelis are very, very good at that sort of thing if they need to do it.
We keep hearing about pickaxe. Is that something that's not going to be there for that much longer?
I think that's likely the case. The president says it's the case. As you know, we had 3 nuclear installations with Midnight Hammer a little over a year ago. That set back the nuclear weapons program where it had been probably weeks to maybe 2, maybe 3 years. But where the regime has been smart is to have redundancy. I think our best intelligence, open source that we see, is that Pickaxe does have equipment in there. I don't think it's enriching uranium yet, but that could be wrong. It's very, very far underground. It makes it much more challenging. But I think the president knows we have the means to get rid of Pickaxe Mountain as well if we make up our mind to do so.
I think we do too. Cliff, thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.